When we discuss some of the most famous comebacks in tennis, we are undoubtedly referring to matches in which the winners began as losers and eventually ended up taking it home during the same process. Here are some of the most exciting matches that the tennis world has witnessed, where the contest has gone to the wire and players have given their all in making it to the top. First up, Nicolas Almagro versus David Ferrer in the Australian Open. This was one of the most exciting contests in the Australian Open quarterfinals, pitting two Spaniards against each other. Despite Ferrer's 12-0 record against Almagro, the stakes were high on the latter due to his spectacular performances in the tournament thus far. Almagro started with style, taking the first two sets convincingly, and just when it looked like he was going to take it home, Ferrer re-entered the game with great tenacity and took the remaining three sets. Ferrer won the match at the end. Next, we had Jimmy Connors versus Michael Pernfors in the 1987 Wimbledon Open. These names may be unfamiliar to the younger generation of tennis fans, but they provided us with a memorable match in the fourth round of the Wimbledon Open. Jimmy Connors appeared to be dead and buried after losing the first two sets to an inspired Swede, Michael Pernfors, before turning the match on its head with one of the most stunning performances. Pernfors led by a margin in the third set, but Connors rallied for a 5-set victory. Up next, Jana Novotná winning the Wimbledon in 1998. Czech Jana Novotná played a big game against fan favorite Steffi Graf and was within a single point of a remarkable 5-1 lead when the worst happened. Graf won the coveted title in 5 straight set games after that. The Czech import was not expected to recover from the devastating loss, but she won the title on her third final appearance against French Nathalie Tauziat in 1998. Then we have Del Potro versus Roger Federer in the 2012 French Open. Roger Federer is unquestionably the king of tennis, and on his day, there is rarely anyone who can stand by the apex player. It was the quarterfinals of the French Open in 2012, and Federer was up against the young Del Potro, who had achieved so much in such a short career. While everyone expected Federer to win easily, Del Potro took the first two sets with great power and resilience, and just when it looked like a big day for him, Federer overturned the result with his well-known brilliance on the tennis court. Despite the fact that Federer won the match, Del Potro won everyone's hearts due to his continuation to play even with a bad knee. Next on the list, Fernando Verdasco versus Andy Murray in Wimbledon 2013. Wimbledon always has something special in store for tennis fans, and the same was true on the eve of the 2013 quarterfinals event. While Andy Murray was chasing his dream of becoming the first player in 77 years to win Wimbledon, which he eventually did, there was a Spaniard, Fernando Verdasco, with all the power and resilience to live his dream of bringing Wimbledon glory to his career. Verdasco almost did it by winning the first two sets, and while he appeared to be on his way to victory, Murray turned the tables by winning the remaining 3 sets. The match had everything that an epic clash should have, and the score did not do justice to the level of excitement and nervousness that everyone felt during the match. Now we have Jennifer Capriati's career comeback. Capriati had everything going for her in tennis at the age of 14, and was deservedly regarded as the sport's golden girl. She left the sport at the age of 18 due to a series of poor decisions and, most likely, poor management. She'd been arrested for shoplifting and marijuana possession, and her mugshot would go on to become the world's most famous. Her long and arduous comeback saw her win 2 titles in 2001, the Australian Open and the French Open, before reclaiming the Australian Open title in 2002. Up next, Goran Ivanisevic winning the Wimbledon finally. You couldn't have faced the legendary Andre Agassi and Pete Sampras in 3 consecutive major finals and expected to win. That's exactly what happened to Ivanisevic in 1992, 1994, and 1998. He lost motivation and eventually fell so far down in the rankings that only a wild card guaranteed him a place at Wimbledon in 2001. It's still a mystery how he beat Murat Safin, Tim Henman, and eventually Pat Rafter to win the Wimbledon Open in 2001. He is the only man to have won the Open as a wild card. Next, Roger Federer. Roger Federer was the GOAT long before 2016. In addition to 17 Grand Slam singles titles, he had a slew of otherworldly accomplishments. However, as the year progressed, it appeared that Father Time had finally caught up with him. He missed 2 Grand Slams, did not win an ATP title, and dropped out of the top 10 for the first time in 14 years. Federer retired from tennis in July due to back pain and a chronic knee injury. Then, at the 2017 Australian Open, Federer won his first Grand Slam in 5 years, defeating arch-rival Rafael Nadal in a 5-set thriller. In one of the more impressive comebacks in recent years, he continued to defy the odds by winning his 8th Wimbledon title, 3 Masters 1000 titles, and finishing the year as world number 2. And now we have Serena Williams. Williams' drop-off was gradual. From 2005 to 2006, she had a strong win-loss record and won a Grand Slam, but due to injuries and depression, she was unable to compete in many of the major tournaments. She dropped to world number 139 in 2006, prompting many, including Pat Cash, to declare her career over. Despite what she says, Serena Williams will never return to the top, he predicted. It's time to tell her she needs to get real. Serena did, in fact, return to the top. In the 3 years following her slump, she won the Australian Open as an unseeded player, 5 more Grand Slams, and finished 2008 as world number 2 and in 2009 as world number 1. Up next, Kim Clijsters. Clijsters had always planned to retire at the end of 2007, but due to a slew of injuries, she announced her retirement in May of that year. She was regarded as a very, very good player at the time, but perhaps not yet a legend. She took a 2-year break from 2007 to 2009. During that time, she married, had a child, and her father died. Clijsters got the itch to play at the highest level again after agreeing to compete in an exhibition match at Wimbledon with Tim Henman, Steffi Graf, and Andre Agassi. She won the 2009 US Open less than 2 months after her official return, becoming the tournament's first wildcard champion and the first mother to win a Grand Slam since 1980. Between 2010 and 2011, the Belgian arguably reached a higher level than she had before retiring, winning 2 more Grand Slams, 1 WTA Finals trophy, titles in Miami and Cincinnati, and briefly becoming world number 1. And now we have Monica Seles. Monica Seles has a strong case for having the best 2-year stretch in women's tennis history. Then, during a match in Hamburg, she was stabbed in the shoulder by a deranged fan. Seles' shoulder would recover quickly, but she was mentally scarred by the incident and would not return to the tour for another 2 years. In 1995, she won her first tournament after returning, setting a record for the fewest number of games lost by the champion throughout the tournament, and reaching the US Open Final. She then won the Australian Open in 1996, defeating Ank Huber in the final, to complete one of those sport's most heartwarming comebacks. Next, Andre Agassi. Agassi was a beast in the mid-1990s. Between 1995 and 1996, the American won 8 ATP titles, including 3 Masters 1000 titles, 1 Grand Slam title, 1 Olympic gold medal, had a combined 111-23 record, and was ranked number 1 in the world for 30 weeks. Regrettably, 1997 was a massive low point in his career. Agassi's wrist injury kept him out of the game for much of the year. His marriage with actress Brooke Shields was failing. He started using crystal meth, an admission he made in his autobiography, Open, and he lost his love for the game. He only played 24 matches, won no titles, and fell to world number 141. In terms of comebacks, this was straight out of a movie. To gain momentum, he committed to an intense fitness program and began competing in low-level challenger tournaments. Agassi finished 1998 with the biggest one-year jump into the top 10 in ATP history, climbing 122 spots to world number 6. He won 5 titles and reached 5 more finals. He also won 68 matches, including 2 convincing victories over then number 1 Pete Sampras. In 1999, he surpassed himself even further, completing a career Grand Slam with his first ever title at Roland Garros and winning a second major title that season at the US Open to finish the year as a dominant world number 1. That's a wrap for this video. Tennis fans have witnessed a lot of talking points in their beloved game over the years. Which of the moments we've listed stood out to you most? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.